Hey there, Glenn with the Toy Temple, and today I get the pleasure of checking out this Stan Lee action figure from the Marvel Legends series. Stan Lee, you know what he's done, you know where he's been. We'll get to that in a second. The figure, though, looks like it's fairly accurate. Got a big Captain America shield with a Stan Lee Stan Lee autograph right on the front. It's got a little chessboard. We'll check those out here in a sec. Excelsior Stan Lee. Look at that. That's cool. Same thing on the other side. Excelsior Stan Lee. Wow. At the top, there's nothing. What about on the back? Hey, look, a little movie poster. Inspired by Stan Lee's cameo as a skeptical chess player in Marvel's The Avengers. And, hey, there he is. Stan the man himself. So, with that, you true believers out there, let's get this action figure open, take a look, and I hope you'll join me. And here's Stan Lee out of the package, and he looks really good. I like that they didn't choose a, hyper-posable figure for him. I mean, he's got the basics, little double-jointed knee, double-jointed elbow, some, upper diaphragm, waist, neck. He can nod, he can adjust, he can laugh, he can sing, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, as I mentioned before, hinge on the wrist. That one's a little loose, no big deal. But that's a really good looking figure. And if you're popping this in with either your MCU or your comics Avengers display, I'll probably put them on the Avengers shelf. But yeah, I really like how the colors came out. Really like the undershirt there with the buttons painted, the collar on the shirt. If only we had a Todd McFarlane or Rob Liefeld accessory so that Stan Lee could demean them and put them in their place.
We're killed away.
You can think and draw at the same time?
Yeah.
But I'm willing to forgive because it did come with 2 accessories, which we'll talk about later. But this figure, really nice. Here, let's set it up so I can get a zoom in on that face. So the face on Stan Lee looks really good. They did the wrinkles, they did the little gold glasses on him, the mustache. He's got a little smile to him. He looks amazing. The only thing I don't like is the back of the head doesn't come all the way down to cover up the rest of that neck, so it's kind of like, I don't know. Go down. Got to finish out that head. I mean, it should just run nice and even to the back of the neck, but on this, they just decided, hey, we don't like that. See, look how much exposed skin that is. You can see the ball peg and the hinge. I don't like that. But they gave it a nice, they gave the hair a nice wash. A little bit of that gray. Yeah. Stan Lee. A little wrinkle, little smile lines. That's nice. It's good. It's really good. So as a size comparison, I decided to bring in Luis and Everett Ross because, they share the same pants. Why not? And these two, I'm fairly certain, share the same shoes. Yeah, those are the same shoes. And in fact, same lower torso piece. So to give a little bit of background to Stan Lee, he was born December 28th, 1922 in New York City. He was originally ashamed of writing comics, and his real name, by the way, was Stanley Martin Lieber. He wanted to save his name for the great American novel that he never really got around to writing, but instead, he'd influence pop storytelling from movies to shows to video games by creating this shared universe between all of his new creations he was churning out at Marvel. Who'd have thought, Marvel, Iron Man, and Captain America teaming up? Who would do that? His work with Jack Kirby obviously can't be understated. Lee would write a broad idea of where the story would go. Kirby would refine the story by drawing beautiful pages of art, and finally Lee would take those pages, write dialogue and captions, and then they'd make the book. And that was what they called the Marvel method in its purest form. The Kirby, Stan Lee collaboration coming together. It's a classic form of their storytelling. You can probably figure out the rest of the success he had. November 12th, though, 2018, we lost him forever, but he was the original true believer, and he passed away at 95 years old. So Stan Lee just influenced, I think, just about everything this century. His effect on nerds like me, you know, with Spider-Man, the competition with DC, even if you're not a Marvel guy, he influenced DC by making them work 40 times as hard because, sure, you could just skate by on Batman and Superman, but with Stan Lee's diverse selection of characters ranging from, well, instead of listing them, let me show you. I'm going to get a whole bunch of action figures down, and I'm going to show you a taste of how many characters Stan Lee has created. So, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Fantastic Four, Medusa, Doctor Doom, Ronan, Adam Warlock, Nick Fury. He also created the likes of Thor, Hela, Loki, Enchantress, Odin, Galactus, who's just way too big to put in this box, Silver Surfer, Ares, Groot, if you can believe it, Heimdall, Whirlwind. And yeah, hey, he invented the Avengers too. Scarlet Witch, Ant-Man, Wasp, Wonder Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Black Panther, the Hulk, Iron Man, Hercules, Quicksilver, Falcon, and Black Knight. And what kind of group do you get to fight Earth's mightiest heroes? Well, you get a big hodgepodge of green and purple villains, of course. Sandman, Mysterio, Green Goblin, Shocker, Beetle, Vulture, Scorpion, Doc Ock, Prowler, and Kingpin. And, you know, maybe there's a New York City crime fighter that could... No, not you, Daredevil. This guy. And yeah, maybe there's one more New York City crime-fighting syndicate that could probably help out. Of course, I'm talking about the original X-Men, also created by Stan Lee. Magneto, Professor X, Cyclops, Angel/Archangel, Iceman, Beast, Hank McCoy, Jean Grey, and, you know, Juggernaut. Also, there's a big Sentinel right here. Also too big for the box, but that's a lot of characters, and Stan Lee had a hand in creating all of them. Accessory-wise, he does come with two accessories. Number one, this chessboard, which does not open, features no chess pieces, but I don't know. Maybe you could make him carry it under the arm, or I don't know. It doesn't open. It's okay. You can see a little mold line from where they injected the mold, and yeah, I mean, it's all right. Then you've got the Stan Lee action figure Captain America shield, which for some reason, how is he going to hold it? Because I would think that he'd hold it with his arm like this, but that doesn't make sense. Otherwise, the signature is not going to be shown. That's weird. Is he just going to hold it? Here, let's try it out. So I'm going to put his arm out like this. Okay. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe. Flip the wrist in. I don't know. That's so weird. Why? It's going to just slide off his arm. That's a weird one. Signature came out pretty clean. Looks like there's a little scratch right there. Little scratches all over, and then the edge is a little rough. I don't know what happened, but sure wasn't my doing. On the back, it's your standard MCU cap shield, which by this point I think everyone's got about 4 or 5 in their drawer. But it looks good. So, with all of those said, one of my final thoughts on Stan Lee. Well, Stan Lee is a great writer, great idea man, just set the tone for nerd culture, for comics, for movies, for everything. He set so many things into motion because he wanted to write, and writing is so important. So, I don't know. How about I challenge anyone who watches this review? Go and write something. Write anything. Anything you want. And just write it again. Take the same idea and write a brand new way of doing it. For this figure, though, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I mean, it's a decent figure. Good accessory. Good paint. Good likeness. You Not really sure what else they could have done. It's a little pricey at $25. You don't get too much out of it, but I wanted to mostly review Stan's legacy rather than the figure. I mean, I'm happy to have the figure, believe me. I looked high and low for this guy, but very happy I have it. But as far as an action figure, it's not really going to do too much action. It's just going to stand there and hold the shield and look pretty. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Hit like, share, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you wrote. If you wrote. If, you know what? Here, let's simplify. What's your favorite character that Stan Lee created? I listed a whole bunch, that's for sure. So I don't know. List it down below. So with that, check me out on Instagram and Twitter, both at The Toy Temple. And remember, you're never too old to enjoy the things you love. That includes you, Stan.